Hello and welcome to the AFL Autoblendz 3D car creation channel. This is just an update of where my channel's going, what I've got on the go 3D modelling wise, other things that I've got on the channel and what I intend to do in the future. I've got two finished models that I've done in the past. The first being this one, which is a Wrangler Jeep. This is the model that I cut my teeth on regarding 3D modelling. It's the first one. It was a superb course that I followed by Chris Plush of CG Masters. It's still available for purchase. The course, it's an extremely good course and you will learn a lot, albeit it's in Blender 2.779 I believe. Well worth pursuing, well worth having a look. As you can see, the model was quite detailed with a full interior which spanned a lot of course notes. We even did the seat belts and the stitching around the seats. There's an image of one of the images that we copied to model the gear shift, etc. So that was a good model to start with, basically. The next model is another finished model, which is a Corvette C7. Again by Chris Plush, which was his second venture into car modelling. He mainly doesn't do that. He's more into the encyclopedia of Blender and learning and that sort of stuff. Not really a car guy, but his modelling skills are unbelievable. And he uses a procedure of basically panels at a time, which I followed, but it took forever doing that way. I think my preferred method now is to box sculpt the body, but there's a lot of things I picked up from him, i.e. all the little shortcuts, all the add-ons, all the modifiers, that sort of stuff, and how to build up materials. We built everything up from scratch, material-wise. So there was all different sorts of plastics, rubber for the tyres. Obviously, there was all sorts of different metals, different paint colours. You name it, there was it there. Also learnt how to model badges, the Corvette badge and all the other bits and pieces, how to UV unwrap, all that sort of stuff. So it was a good model to build really and learn from. The next model is the G Wagon, the Mercedes G Wagon. This is a course by Albert of the Natural Art Freak. If you subscribe to his channel, he was a student of Chris Plush, and he sort of carried on in the same vein, but sort of added more skills and more armoury to the model. I'm following on with that, but very loosely at the moment, because I prefer older cars, more classic cars, not sort of run of the mill everyday vehicles. So this has been a little bit on the back burner, and it was one of the two models that I was building religiously, following Albert and the Natural Art Freak, until I thankfully discovered Rod Halligan. I cannot begin to advise everybody who watches my channel to also subscribe to Rod. Rod is a very insightful person, very detailed. He knows cars inside out, and he builds some remarkable cars. He's always got cars on the go. He does 3, 4, 5 videos a day. Again, using the box sculpting. So his method for sculpting, he knows the lines of cars, and also he's got some interesting projects. He's doing the warehouse, which I'll show you later, which I'm sort of following along. He's doing a Ferrari Daytona engine from blueprints from scratch, which is unbelievable. He's doing one-off cars that never got produced. So wire wheels, where I've never ever seen anyone else model wire wheels, not certainly in a tutorial. So again, I think Rod will tell you all, if you subscribe to his channel and watch his videos, but I think he'll tell you all that he's been a modeler for over 20 years, and he's got about 50 cars that he's already built. So he's very well respected, and very informative, and a thoroughly nice chap. Anyway, the next model that I'm working on is the Audi R8, which is again by the Natural Art Freak. Superb lines, and it's coming along well, but once again it's a bit like the G Wagon. I've sort of put it on the back burner a little bit for the other vehicles that I'm currently working on. But there's been some good movement on this one. I've done a fair amount of the body. Just got the bumper, the rear boot. As you can see, what I've got left really. The wind screens and the lights, etc, etc, etc. So I hope to get back to that, and I'm very pleased with the smoothness and the curvature of this vehicle. So I'll get back to it at some point. The next model is the first one that I've started following Rod Halligan, and again you can see he's just about finished it completely. I think he's still got a few more bits to do, but basically, essentially it's finished. A lovely car, always like this car. 1962 Ferrari 250 GTO, superb vehicle. So I'm working on that daily now, along with my other projects. This one here is a Porsche 356. It's called the Silver Bullet. It was a one-off car produced by somebody in Australia, and so this is a follow along with Rod. There's hardly any blueprints, it's just pictures, photos. So this is still in the early stages of the sculpting process, which I'm finding very satisfying, very interesting. It doesn't look much at the moment. I think the cylinder that marks the headlight, I know that looks weird, but that is for placement, to see exactly where it goes. That is not a part of the model really, as are not the wheels. They were just a prop to see where how the rest of the body related to those props basically. So that's one that I will keep working. I'm not doing any videos on that yet. I won't be doing any follow-alongs or anything like that because Rod's already doing it. So you learn a hell of a lot more from Rod than you will from me. But I might do some screenshots and put it up on my channel. The next one, again another one from Rod, is the Alfa Romeo 1929 Alfa Romeo 8900B Spider. It's a superb looking motor. essentially finished the back now, and I'm just following along Rod's tutorial about sculpting the front fenders, and that is the very early stages of shaping that, as you can see. But I'm really pleased with the progress on this one. Probably going to have a bit of a go on that one tomorrow. So I'm on Instagram. Once people search for me there, and I'll put up various renders and bits I've finished and this and that and the other. So that's that. The next one is another one from Rod. He's doing a building, his dream garage, basically to house 22 cars. I've already done a video on what I would choose as 22 cars. I've also gone a little bit further than that and say what I would put in there British car wise, 22 cars. I intend to do a 22 favourite American cars and also 22 European cars, so non-British but the best of the rest basically, and cars that are not featured in my all-time top. Every car will be a different sort of car. I've got some ideas of what to do, but this is the where else, so I've loosely based it on Rod's plan. As you can see here, I've put the Corvette in. Okay, the rendering's not brilliant, but as a scale, I've put the Corvette in, and these are bend pack lifts, which we've just done the basic positioning of these cars, and each of these lifts will have a car on or underneath. Okay, but Rod's going to put a boutique, a restaurant, bar, and all sorts of things in this. I've done a little panel of brickwork and windows. Again, that's on my Instagram channel. This is not a daily project. I'll dip into this every now and again, when it suits really. If I get bored of the other cars or need a rest, sometimes I find before I met I discovered Rod, I worked on 2 cars, and predominantly I'd be working on one week after week after week, and I'd get into a bit of a rut where I'd be thinking, I've done it time and time again. I've spent an hour looking at a car thinking, how the heck do I do that? How do I do this? And I'll get stuck and have to retrack my steps and this and that and the other. And I wake up in the morning, and within minutes I've achieved what I was trying to do for over an hour. So it made me realise that perhaps if I had more projects, rather than just staring at the screen for an hour wondering how am I going to get over this problem, I just park that problem and start on and move on to one of the other projects. So that's basically what I'm doing, and it seems to be working. I'm spending more time at the computer now, looking at it, more interested rather than getting despondent and going and watch car programs on TV, because that's what I like to do, watch car programs, generally American ones, but I like the classic cars, and there's not many programs on typical classic cars, i.e. old 1950s, 60s Ferraris or 1960s, 70s British cars. So anyway, that's that. The next project that I'm working on is, I'm following a tutorial. I can't remember who's doing it, but basically this is a countryside scene. We've got a little road, a little track here, and I'm just going to put one of the cars on it and get all the foliage and trees all rendered out nicely, and it'll just be a good little backdrop for one of the cars. Again, this is not a day by day project. Now moving on to, I skipped this one, and this is the Joette Jupiter. This is the first car that I'm doing. If you haven't seen, this is the first car I'm doing as a watch along, a tutorial, in similar lines to what Rod's doing, but using using some of the skills and tricks that I've learned from Chris, Plush and Albert. So there it's in a sort of a jelly mould stage at the moment. I'm on stage, I think I'm on 5. I've just done video 5 on it. I suspect there'll be at least another 5 or 6 parts until I get the body to how I want it. Different to Rod, I'm doing the body and I want to get it as near damn perfect as possible, so I can use it as a guide mesh. So when I'm cutting out holes and whatever, it's not going to mess up it's going to save time basically in trying to get the curvature back, you know, stopping any pinching or unusual dimples in the car. So that's what I'm going to do, a little watch along on this one. This is a 1950 to 1954 British sports car. I haven't seen anybody else trying to model it. There's not that many blueprints and reference images for it. So that's a little pet project of mine. We'll see how we go with that one. The projects to start. I've got one I want to start. There's another one to add to the list as well. There's one that Rod started, a Ferrari Formula 1 Tipo car, 1960-ish, I think 61, something like that I want to start, a little racer. But this one is a Star Gordon Bennett. Great name. It's a 1905 race car. It is beautiful. And there's a picture of it. So I don't envisage it being a necessarily difficult build. It looks quite simple, but I love that the vintage racing type theme. It's brilliant. Love it. So that's projects to start, hopefully early on in the year, and then future projects and why I want to do them. There's a Dodge Challenger 1970. Reason I'm doing this is because my other interest is radio control and 3D printing. So the reason I want to do the Dodge Challenger is to create just the body, not to model the whole thing, because I've already printed off a chassis in 10th scale. I need to purchase all the running gear, the motor, the radio controlled stuff, etc. And that's what I want to do. I want to print off the body in as many parts as I can to get it right. It won't be a printing one print of a body, because it'll be about 400mm long, so it's over a foot long. My print bed's only 250mm, so square, 225 I think square, so it's 9-inch square. So it'll be a bit longer than that, so I've got to do it in more parts really. So I want to do the doors, I want to do the hood, I want to do the boot, and I want to do the windscreens. I've also purchased recently, which I haven't even got out of the box yet, a vacuum former. So the intention is to 3D print the parts and then to vacuum form over the 3D print, so I can get a smoother, more readily achievable panel part. and more in line with what radio control cars are anyway. Keep them light, and most bodies are like in that sort of polystyrene type material. So that's what I want to do. And also one of my all-time favourite cars that I've always wanted to build. And I wasn't very successful in starting one, because I started it before I knew too much about the 3D modelling process. And it's a Shelby Cobra 1966, lovely car. So that's another thing I want to do in the future. So we've mentioned my 3D printing, we've mentioned the radio control. My channel also features radio controlled action, which I'm getting. I'm into producing short videos. I own an Audi S5, and I love that car. It's V8 engine, and done a couple of videos on that. And any other thing, I used to do model engineering when I was younger, and I made a Victoria Mill engine, and I started to, with my stepfather, started to build a Foden steam lorry, and that would have been a third scale. So in essence, it had been 9 foot long. And I did the manufactured in engineering. We had engineering equipment, and we did the front axle. We purchased the boiler tube. We got the cylinder block, and the chassis, which was out of 3-inch by 1.5-inch channel. Got that all sorted. In the end, I ended up selling it to my nephew, who's subsequently finished it yet. I haven't seen it yet, but I aim to get some information on that so I can put on my channel at some point. As soon as this COVID thing goes, I'll try to do that, and also further my 3D printing, and get out there and do more radio control videos. Anyway, thanks for watching. That was just a longer than I expected update, but it's just a quick update as to where and what I'm doing on this channel, just for your information. Thank you. Bye.